I've seen the greatest gains from sales managers with their salespeople by practice.
Hello, I'm delighted to have Bill Carson with me again. Welcome back, Bill.
Thanks, John.
Hey, Bill, we had a great discussion last time about the role of the sales manager on a sales call with one of their people and how they go about managing that role.
Yes.
And part of that we talked about planning it ahead of time.
Yes.
But of course, a lot of calls that the salesperson does, you as a sales manager are not going to be on.
Yes.
But for many of those calls, you will get involved in pre-planning and post-planning or post-reviewing how the call went, doing the plan in the first place.
Exactly.
How do you go about, or how do you recommend sales managers go about that coaching process, pre and post calls?
Yep. Well, sales managers are very busy, so they can't do it on all the calls that their salespeople are going on.
Why have salespeople if you're going to do that?
Exactly.
It's really helping them build the skills of planning that call properly. Isn't it? Once they have the skills, you don't need to do it all that often.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the powerful coaching roles that sales managers can adopt is with their salespeople on either one per week or a really important opportunity, and have a conversation with them either by telephone or in the office, asking the salesperson to identify, okay, what's your call objective? What's the buyer action? What are you going to be asking for to move the buyer along? What are some of the questions that you're going to drive? And if necessary, do a little mini practice session there and then. Now, quality time needs to be set aside for this. This is not just in the car.
And if you're going to do practice sessions, you're absolutely right. And practice sessions are so vital, aren't they?
Absolutely.
That's a real key part of the learning process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking with John Dugan the other day, he had this 10, 20, 70 model. And the 70 model was practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Transfer the knowledge on the skills, the 10%, and so on, ultimately down to really understanding that, like any coach in a sporting environment, you most of the time you're there getting the people to practice, you're observing them and so on, but it's practice that ultimately then puts into active function when you go on a call and it happens, right? So the pre-calling and the post-calling is really involving that. It's not just doing the planning, it's then the practice.
Exactly. So an example recently was a sales manager identified that a salesperson needed to improve the prep or questions. So he gave him, okay, come back to me with 5 questions, shoot them, email them through to me, and then a quick discussion on those. Then the salesperson went and did the call, and then the post-call conversation was, okay, how did those questions land? Which ones worked, which ones didn't? And from that, in this instance, some of them landed, some of them didn't. So then they had a post-call conversation about that
and how they could have done it differently and what the options were and so on. Again, using the GROW model.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and spot on. And if you map this to any sort of sporting activity, you're looking at the differentiations around activity, around passing or around various skills, and it's about building those over time.
Within the framework of the sales process. So different skills are going to be used as you move through that sales process.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it links to overall account planning and opportunity planning as well, but this is granulating down specifically into the skill. The
skill of planning the call and then doing the post-call coaching.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great message. I think to me, as a sales manager, and even when I was a salesperson, it's probably where I got most of the value out of being a sales manager by really doing the pre and post call. And the post call is so valuable. How did it go? What worked? What didn't it work? And let's go through the GROW model to look at how you might have done it differently.
Absolutely. And I've seen the greatest gains from sales managers with their salespeople by practice.
Great point. Let's end it there, and I look forward to coming back and having another discussion.
Thanks, John.